welcome back for another math workshop. Today we're going to be working on word problems and multiplication, and again we're still using some strategies that aren't considered the most standard of multiplication. They're definitely Common Core strategies, California Common Core, and they're not your standard multiplication, but you'll see kind of when we dive in. So yeah, let's just go right into it. So here I have a word problem written out. This can be found in the 4th grade Go Math Chapter 2 Lesson 9. It's just a problem that I borrowed from it, and it's just, to help students out with this type of problem. So here's the problem. The seats in sections A and B of the stadium are all taken for the last show. That means all the seats are full, at least in those two sections. Section A has 8 rows of 14 seats each. Section B has 6 rows of 16 seats each. How many people are seated in sections A and B for the last show? Very first thing we have to do is we have to figure out what the question is. So I'm going to go ahead and take this red marker and we're going to underline the question. How many people are seated in sections A and B for the last show? Well, we know all the seats for A and B are full in the last show, so we're going to do section A plus section B equals total. So this is what we're trying to solve, is what's in the red. Again, I apologize for my poor handwriting. I'm not the best. I'm just a guy writing on a whiteboard. Okay. So that's the question. This is what we're trying to solve. Now we have to figure out what we know. What do we know from this word problem? Well, let's make section A blue. Section A will be blue. So what do we know about section A? Section A, let's see, has 8 rows of 14 seats each. So we have 8 rows and then 14 seats per row. I'm just going to say 14 seats. I'm going to put this as per row. Okay? So we have, that's what we know about section A. Now, section B, I'm going to make purple. So let's go ahead and actually underline just with the blue real fast. 8 rows, 14 seats each. Section B has 6 rows of 16 seats each. So let's go ahead and write that down. Section B has 6 rows at 16 seats per row. Okay. So this is the question. This is what we know we need to solve. This is what we know. And there's no other information, as far as I'm aware, as far as I can tell, that is going to help us in this word problem. So what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and start working with the numbers. So we know that we need section A plus section B equals our total number. So right now we need to solve or figure out what section A has in total seats. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and erase this word problem up here because we have all the information we need and I'm limited on space. Okay. So let's go ahead and get all that out of here. Let's get that red line. Oh, I erased a little bit of the word problem. Let me fix that. It's going to bother me. My handwriting may not be good, but I still am particular about some things. Okay, so I'm going to use this space up here to solve the problem. So section A has 8 rows with 14 seats per row. Now, there's a couple different ways you could do this. You could draw, 8 boxes and break them up into 14, or you could do 8 circles and put 14 dots in it, or whatever it is. But since we're just multiplying, let's just do basic well, not quite basic multiplication, but we're going to multiply these numbers. So let's go ahead and do 8 times 14, or 8 groups of 14. Now, for some of my students, we do have some difficulties multiplying, so I want to make sure I make this as easy as possible and simplify it. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to, let's get some 2 different colors here. Let's do green and orange. We're going to look at the 1. The 1 is worth 10 in this situation, in this math problem. So let's go ahead and make that 1 into a 10. And then let's look at the 4. That 4 is worth 4, because if we look at it, 10 plus 4 is 14. That's what those numbers are worth. Now, we're going to go ahead and multiply these numbers by 8, because all in all, this whole problem is multiplied by 8. So 10 times 8 and 4 times 8. Now we're going to multiply. 10 times 8 is 80. If you needed to know how I got that, I simply did 8 times 1. I covered up that 0 for a second, did 8 times 1, and then I put that 0 and attached it back at the back of that 8. So we get 10 times 8 equals 80. 8 times 4, I have this simply memorized. It's 32. If you need any additional help, you can always do like 4 boxes and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and until you get to 8 dots in each box. And then if you counted up all the dots, you would get 32. Whatever multiplication strategy helps you, just remember that's one that you can use. So we have 80 and 32. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 80 plus 32. 0 plus 2 is 2. 8 plus 3 is 11. So going way back down here to section A, has 8 rows at 14 seats per row. This is equal to 112 total seats. Okay? So we're going to leave that there for right now. And I'm going to go ahead and erase this math up here so I can use this board space again. Now we have 6 rows at 16 seats per row for section B. So let's do what we did for section A. We have 6 times 16. Now once again, I'm going to take the green, underline the 1, and realize that 1 is worth 10. Perfect. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Next up, I'm going to take the orange, underline the 6, realize that 6 is in fact worth a 6, and then I have that. So 10 times 6 and 6 times 6, we're going to do both of these math problems. 10 times 6 is 60. 6 times 1 is 6. Add that 0 in the back, you get 60. 6 times 6 is 36. Simple enough, split it apart. Let's put it back together. 60 plus 36 is equal to 0 plus 6 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. 96. So let's put that down here as well. So we have 112 seats in section A and 96 seats in section B. However, what does our question ask? Section A plus section B equals total. So we need to add them all together. So what I'm going to do now, because we don't need that information anymore, we already have all that, and we don't need this information anymore, we simply need section A, which is 112, plus section B, which is, I'm going to color code this just because, section B, which is 96, equals whatever our answer is over here. So let's go ahead and do that math. If I do 112 plus 96, 2 plus 6 is 8, 1 plus 9 is 10. I'm going to put the 0 down here and regroup up at the top. 1 plus 1 is 2. So our final answer comes to 208, oops, not 200S, 208 total seats. And that answers our question. Now, that is how you solve the problem. There is another one. There's another problem that asks for a little bit more information. So let's go ahead and solve that. So the answer to our question here was 208. However, it says, what if sections A and B each had 7 rows? How many people would have been seated in sections A and B? So let's go ahead and go back and recreate our problem here. So we have section A. Let's come up to the top so I have the space at the bottom this time. We have section A, and we're going to do 7 rows at, how many seats was it? 14. 14 seats. We're going to do section B. And they're also going to have 7 rows at 16 seats. So we're going to do the same thing. We're still going to multiply and add it up, and it's just going to change our answer up a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do 7 times 14. And then let's, again, 14, we're going to change that 1 to a 10. And then let's look at that 4. We're going to change the 4. We're not really changing the 4, but we're leaving the 4 as a 4. And then we're taking times 7 times 7. 10 times 7 is 70. 4 times 7 is 28. Add them together and you get 98. Again, I flew through that a little bit faster because I described everything I was doing in the previous problem. Now we're just kind of doing it again for reassurance. Okay, next up we have 7 times 16. I get that from these numbers, just like I got these ones from these numbers up here. So we're once again going to look at the 1. That's going to be 10. Look at the 6. That's going to be 6. It all has to do with place value. And then now we're going to solve these. So 10 times 7 and 6 times 7. 10 times 7 is still equal to 70, so no change there. But 6 times 7 is equal to 42, so a little bit different there than the other side. So we have 0 plus 2 is 0, 7 plus 4 is 11. Okay, so we have our 2 groups. Now we have to add those together. Let's do it right here in the middle. 112 plus 98 is equal to 2 plus 8 is 10, regrouping. 2 plus 9 is 11, regrouping. 210 total seats. I'm going to leave a little space so I can write seats. Make sure to always label your answers. That's just coming from me, a teacher who would appreciate if people would label their answers more often. Okay, so that's it. That's kind of how we pull apart word problems and multiplication and how we're doing this lesson today. So thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. If you need any help, let me know. Leave a question in the comment. And yeah, that's going to be it. Once again, this is California Common Core Math. It aligns with Go Math 4th grade, chapter 2.9. Yeah, that's it for me. See you later.